Hello, I'm Jordan Bassett, here with NME, on Facebook live in your eyeballs, with Fall Out Boy. Hi guys, how you doing?
Good, right?
So you played a show at Brixton Electric last night. It was so much fun. It was kind of a small venue for you.
Yeah, I suppose it was. Yeah, it was the largest of the 3 shows we've played since we've been out of the country, so it's the big one.
Okay, it was a big one for that
in
round.
that context.
But when you're coming back, you're going to play like the O2, right?
Believe so, yes.
Yes.
So how does it compare, like doing the smaller shows? Is it different from your perspective at all?
I was saying earlier, it was so strange because it was like literally cold on stage last night. Like it was, and someone told us that the venue used to be called the Fridge. That was like the nickname.
Oh,
of the
really?
venue. Yeah. It's different in the way that like you try to make these smaller shows feel like there's a bigger experience happening, and with the bigger shows you try to make it feel like it's more intimate. So you're always trying to like expand and shrink these rooms that are physical spaces.
Yeah. Someone threw a porg on stage at one point.
Yes, it was like we would call it like what would we call it, like a forg or something, because it's like not quite a porg. It was like a little off-brand kind of. He had these like crazy eyes, like he'd like he'd seen too many things happen.
It was a porg with some
seen some stuff.
some demons.
Okay, so your upcoming 7th album, Mania, is out next Friday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, it's already sort of ruffled a few feathers because it's sort of a departure from the sort of pop punk sound that a lot of people still associate with Fall Out Boy. There's like a bit of EDM in there, a bit sort of electro in there.
I wonder how they still associate us with considering like how many records away from that we are. But
It's true though, right?
I mean, it's definitely true. But again,
I think that like art, especially like kind of like pop art, like I don't even necessarily mean that it should think that it needs to ruffle feathers, but it should make you feel something,
Sure,
like everything kind of like, an album like I remember even kind of like when, so when I got into Metallica was the Black Album, but like some of the stuff after I was like, well, why aren't they just doing like Enter Sandman Part 2, and then you kind of realize that they're progressing. And because of that, it's like forced you to have new thoughts and new progressions and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure there are people who like have different expectations. Then I go into lots of things where I have these expectations, and then it doesn't meet the exact expectations I have, but it does other things.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it does that with people.
yeah, it's tough when your routine gets messed up.
Sure, yeah.
It is very strange though. I feel like we're a band that has made no secret of experimenting and changing, playing around with different sounds on most of our albums at this point. So to be, how long we've been a band, 17 years, and have anybody be surprised that we're doing something different? I'm like, were you paying any attention?
Yeah.
But,
So I think the only featured artist on the record is the Nigerian artist Burma Boy.
Yeah.
How did that? He's on the song Riptide Sunshine.
Sunshine Riptide.
Sunshine Riptide.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
okay. The rest titles are ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's a short title actually compared to the older ones. So how did that collaboration come about, and why did you choose to work with him?
We'd gotten into some of through the beauty of the way, playlists and all that work, had gotten into some of the Nigerian like hip hop, like Mr. Easy and that kind of stuff. And Burna Boy was one that we reached out to, and it all happened on WhatsApp, and it was like pretty much the most, people were always like, how does it stay new? It was pretty much like the most magical interaction where the guy was like, telling me to fuck off if it wasn't Fall Out Boy for real, and like, the exact thing where like you call up and you're like, it's Fall Out Boy, and he's like, fuck you, and like, hangs up because he's like, there's no way it is,
Yeah.
But it was great, and he like, invited us to play his festival, and it's just like such a great interaction. There's actually one other, I wanted, and we didn't even ever try to do this, I don't think, but I wanted Cuddy on a song as well, and we just didn't. I ended up talking to him at a show that he came to one of our shows to, I think, see Jaden Smith this year. But I was like, dude, he's like, well, we should have just made it happen. And we just didn't. But
so maybe that'll be one for the next record. You said that Young and Menace is like one of the wildest songs on Mania. So why make that the lead single?
I think that it's interesting to, like people call a song a single, and then immediately, like with a band like us, it puts all these things around it.
Right,
like,
okay, yeah.
oh, like, A-list and all, like people think it's like all, and I'm like, it's not. It was just a, because you can just put out songs now, and so like that was a song, and I think it was a bit of a palate cleanse. I think we'd done 2 albums back to back that had like were similar thematically, they were similar sonically,
yeah.
and so it was like a palate cleanse. Like when Patrick played it, it was like, wow, this is like different, and this will really like kind of like, it's like jumping in like a cold tub of water or something. You're like, you're like, this kind of is crazy, but I love it, and now I can get back to like, my system back online or whatever. So I think that's what it was, but it was never a radio song or something like that to me.
Yeah.
At least.
Should we move on to some questions that we've had from fans? We put out the call yesterday on Twitter. What have we got? At Yo Mikey Hay asks, how do you guys feel about the fact that you've been making music for almost 2 decades now? Almost 2 decades.
It's crazy, and it's crazy when you're like going through an airport and someone's like, dude, I've been into you since I was in, 4th grade or something, and the person like looks like they're in their mid-20s.
Or they work there. That's been the weirdest thing. Is now we've been around long enough that we have fans that have entered into professional life now. So it's a total. It totally throws me off because this has been our job since before we were really old enough to have proper jobs, kind of.
Right.
So there wasn't really that transition of like entering into the real world. So then like you'll be on the plane and the flight attendant's like, I'm a fan, and you're like, that's crazy. Like you're an adult. Like, your brain doesn't really and you're like, oh, I guess I am too. Whatever. So.
But the cool thing is, like at the show last night, it was a very kind of young audience at the show as well.
Yeah. I think that, like the kids are the ones who like get in the tents and spend the night outside and pack in on the barricade and stuff.
Yeah.
Like some of the, are probably like older fans are like, I'll see him at O2 where I can like, order a drink and I can like
balcony.
At Dusty Old Box asks, Pete, would you ever make a perfume called Pete Scents?
Pete Sense. I mean, it is a compelling name. Compelling name.
I think that's a yes. Natalia asks, what is your favourite music video you've ever done?
It's probably different for all of us, I guess.
Sure is.
Eddie Hurley, what do you got there, buddy?
Don't put him on the spot like that. What do you got?
Vampire video by.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 16
Little
Candles
16
was
Candles,
fun. It was like
yeah.
a movie.
Yeah, it was like a 3-day night shoot.
We had a budget then.
Like stunt coordinators and
Yeah.
We shoot that. Which lot do we shoot it on?
Paramount. I
Paramount
think.
lot. That's what I thought.
Do you enjoy
No, I
making
still like
music
Earth
videos?
No.
It's sometimes it depends on like I think sometimes they can get long and sometimes like as everybody knows they're like not it's not like you show up really early and then they're like your first shot is not until 9 p.m. now.
It's kind of crazy.
Low waiting around.
Yeah, but sometimes they're fun and it's cool to be able to like tell a different story or be goofy or be serious.
Yeah.
It's fun. That aspect of it.
Tommy asks, is there anything you miss about playing basement shows?
I mean, on some level, it was neat to play basement shows because there were like no expectations, So if you even got through the set without something breaking, or you were capable of playing all your songs. Maybe that was the thing, is there was always a microphone that fell over, or an amplifier that exploded, or something would always go wrong. So if you made it all the way through and played all your songs at one of those basement shows, that felt like an achievement, So that's kind of a fun thing that I miss.
My favorite image ever from basement shows is when the guitarist crowd surfs and then ends up kicking through the tile ceiling. It happens at every single one. You're like, well, the moment has happened.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever go back to sort of do one as like a sort of a special thing?
That'd be fun if there could be like a way to do it in a non like
And
goofy.
not somebody's house.
Yeah, not someone's house for sure, but like not in a non-goofy way, kind of, I guess.
Someone called at FOB Adorable, there must be a real fan, asks, Patrick, this is a very hard-hitting question. I'm actually quite nervous to ask this, it's so hard-hitting. Patrick, how many hats do you currently have?
I had like a big, I don't know what you call it, but I got rid of a lot of hats.
Purge.
Purge, yes. I had a hat purge, so I think I'm down to like 4. I really don't have that many
You like
hats.
the movies?
Yeah.
No, really
They were
not.
all terrified.
All rules were out the window.
I've never seen the movie, so all I know is there's like masks involved and like
There's, like,
going
a
door
day,
to door and scaring people and hurting
Purge
people.
day, and you can kill anybody or something.
Without
I've never
any-
seen it
with
either.
impunity.
It's like your exact nightmare.
Awesome. Well, so I tortured these hats, and yeah, no,
It's
so I
not
have
really
very few
about
now.
torture so much, just murder.
Okay. Sorry, just murder.
Wow, this was a far more revealing answer than I was expecting.
I didn't write the purge. You gotta talk to those guys, you know? Or guy or gals.
At SJS Spooky asks, do you feel more confident in this album than previous years and eras?
I think that the answer could be that there's like, you know, like when you're a younger band and you basically work for this like giant, you know, corporation, and you know, like there's like, you know, where they have like fourth quarter meetings about how the stocks are doing and stuff. Like that's a little bit scarier, you know, and people are telling you like, oh, this, like we've been told literally that like we're like the album's gonna fail and like our songs won't work at radio and like still put out the album anyway, you know. And I think now the way the shift in the way that like the music industry works, like you're way more your own boss now, you know, and so I
Right.
think that in that way you're like, hey, am I doing a good enough job for
Sure,
me
yeah,
as
yeah.
well, you know? And then I think also that there's less on the line, so I think in that way we have to be young and menace. We have to push it further because we're adrenaline junkies. No, I mean because that's the only way to push it forward. I think,
Yeah.
you know.
And you know, kind of side note, I mean, yes, I do feel very confident in this one, and a lot more than I did after releasing some of the other records, because I think that when we pushed the record back, I think that kind of allowed us to really focus in a way where this is the first record I think we've ever put out where I don't have like a, yeah, but that one.
Right,
I don't
okay,
know about
yeah,
that
yeah,
one. You know, we really didn't, you know, the nature of the way we ended up working on it. Now it's kind of like I love every song on it, and it all speaks to. I don't know. I can't. It's just speaking for me, but I think I'm very excited about it.
Because the album was originally going to come out in September, is that right? So why was the delay?
I mean, I think that we collectively realized that it was the stuff that we had made up until then was fine, but like not great, you know, like
Okay.
that we didn't feel like it was great. So I think we just wanted to do that.
So was it a complete overhaul, or was it?
I think it was a complete overhaul.
Well, yeah. I just mean in terms of. Sorry, I shook my head. No, I just mean in terms of. It wasn't like. It's not like there's. We replaced everything with new songs per se. It's more. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to give anyone the impression that there's a secret album out there.
Totally.
It's more that we took a lot of these ideas. I'll give an example, and this is very boring kind of whatever, but this is how it actually goes down. Usually when I work on my part of a record, I start writing from, you know, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then I stop, and then I show everybody that, and, you know, do we like this song enough for me to finish it, right? And it's usually like the rest of the songs, of every song I don't really complete, you know. And we were in this place where that part of a lot of the songs was pretty, we liked those, we liked what we had, but we were rushing to finish the back half, so, you know, I'm just
Right.
slapping together verses and bridges and, you know, like, I don't know, I'll just repeat this and whatever. I really
Yeah.
wasn't giving the songs, because we were so short on time, I wasn't giving them a lot of a lot of respect. It was kind of like, I don't know, do this and then do this. I don't know. That's good enough. And it's like, well, that's not good enough. You should care about the journey of each little song, of each moment. So
And the songs that like don't make it aren't ever finished or worked
Yeah.
on or go beyond the demo state. So like there just isn't another album. But but I don't mean it to be like, I don't want people to think that like, well, we pushed it back, but we like just had to put another coat of polish on this. Like, you know, like that's like after we pushed it back, like the day or 2 days after we wrote Last of the Real Ones,
Yeah.
and we, you know, like, so I think
Yeah.
that there were like big changes that happened,
yeah,
you
that's
know?
true, yeah.
But at the same time, we're not going to have a lost Fallout Boy
No,
of an
no,
emerge in
no.
10 years.
No.
Okay, so last question. Maybe let's go around everyone, and everyone can answer this. Olivia asks, "What's your favourite song off Mania?"
Wow.
I'm closest, so I have to start. I'm going to say that it would change probably every day because I think there's a lot of songs that I really like on it. Right now, I feel like Heaven's Gate. I heard it the other day. I was like, I'm really happy with that song. So.
I would say Bishop's Knife Trick. I just like it as a way to close the album.
I don't even know which song that is. By the way, because all the titles have changed since the demo state. Church, if that's what it's called still. Church.
Heaven's Gate as well.
Well, there you go. You can decide for yourself next week. I've been Jordan Bassett. This has been Fallout Boy. Thank you very much.